Hello and welcome to an Everquest guide for a 115 Bard. Now this is how I play a Bard. This might not be the best way to play a Bard, but this is what I do and how I do it in my multi-boxing setup. So it may be useful, it may not be useful. I'm just giving that disclaimer out there before I get a dislike because I didn't cover how to do certain things, but alright. We're going to go over spells, we're going to go over some of my hotbars, we're going to go over how I do extended target to make some of this stuff work. We're going to go over my melody here and kind of talk about that. We're going to talk about burns, and we're going to talk about... I think that's it. Maybe some other stuff as we go through it. So, oh yeah, gear. We'll talk about gear. But first up, my spell set is the following. Aria of Maragodorar, I don't fucking know, increases the damage of your companion spells by up to 46%. Doesn't work on stuff over 115 for the most part. Increases your companion's attack speed by 25%. That's over haste 25%. Increases their chance to triple attack by 40%. And increases their chance to flurry by 6%. And adds 36% chance for the pet to flurry. So Bard plus pets equal nice, right? All right. Arcane Sympathy or Symphony, jeez, fuels the destructive power of your group's members, allowing them to strike with the Arcane Symphony effect, which deals 1600 damage when they cast a damaging spell up to 115, or a chance to strike with Symphony Strike, which deals 747,000 damage, or 740 damage via melee attacks. Yeah, it lasts for 4 spells, so very nice indeed. So those are just procs that are added onto everybody else's things. So this is an ADPS spell. Pulse of Valsera. So this is a mana regen song. Increases mana regen, health regen. So health by 257, mana regen by 187, endurance by 20. Increases the yield of the healing spells by 14%, and whatnot. Stops at 115. Kind of making sure I make that point. So we'll have to upgrade all these as soon as we hit 116. Actually, War March is next. So this is just our group haste. I swap this spell in and out depending on what I'm doing and who I'm playing primary. If I'm playing my tank primary, I do War March. If I'm playing my Necro primary, I swap that with... Where is it? See if I can find it right. This is the dot focus. There we go. What is it called? Veltor's Psalm of Potency here. So this will add damage to damage over time spells. So depending on how I'm playing, I swap those in and out. Because one, everybody's haste capped for the most part. So there's a little benefit out of the War March, except for in like the other stuff here, attack rating and stuff. And the damage shields. It's nice, but if I want to really push extra damage here, we want Psalm. But the problem with this one is like my Necro is 122, and this kind of yields at 115. So for the most part, I play primary with my Paladin when I'm playing with these characters. So I just keep War March in at all times. Then we have Chorus here. So this is just another regen song. Increases the health regen by 220 and the mana regen by 175 and endurance by 14. So you're getting, what is that, 34 endurance regen now? Let's keep adding it up here. Zerbor's Lively Crescendo here. So this is a interesting mana regen song. It does not work immediately. It takes 30 seconds to actually work, and then it restores 2,300 hit points, 1,200 mana, and 91 endurance. So it's just, you know, put that in your melody at a certain point, and it will do some stuff. I have Song of Suffering here, mostly because I was trying to get a little bit more damage out of the bard right now. So it's a little bit of a mess, but grants everybody a chance to deal 10,000 magical damage to things they strike and lower the hatred. So this is another ADPS, right? Every time the pet hits, it does 10,000 damage, and it lowers the hatred a little bit. My group is mostly casters, so it only really affects the pets, but I do have a mage pet, a necro pet, a shaman pet, plus all the little swarm pets that may be affected by this. Ormdorn's Insult. So this is our synergy spell. If we go here to Troubadour's Synergy, this will give us, everybody in the group, a chance to deal an extra 90,000 damage. Let's see if we got it up right now. We don't here, so let's go like that. Let's insult him real quick. And there you go. We get one charge of Troubadour's Synergy, which will do that. So it's a melee attack. It is a spell. Anything can absorb that charge and deal 90,000 damage. Now, let's take a look at something real quick before we gonna get a little carried away here. So if we look here, so we got Knight Synergy. If we mouse over this one right here, oh my gosh, Troubadour Synergy. So this is the mage pet. Now, this goes for the necro pet too. You can see it right here. Now, every single pet will get the synergy every time I do this. So that's 90,000 damage that just boom gets thrown out there. Now that can crit, that can twin cast, that can do all kinds of other crazy stuff, but keep that in mind. Now we are 115. There is one more rank. For some reason we did not get it. I guess it was a Claws of Vishan, not a Torment of Velius version, so we do not get that. But the next rank will include Yelenax Insult, which is the current 115 version we have, which will do even more, and that'll do 135,000 damage for that one proc for everybody versus 90,000. So keep that in mind. I don't have the AAs at the moment to buy it, but if I did, that's what it would. And I would switch this to Yelenax Insult. Then I have Silence and Slumber. Silence is our lull. This will allow us to lull anything up to 115. I use my bard as a ADPS box and a puller. In certain situations where pulling 3 mobs is not ideal, I will lull the mobs if I can. If I cannot, we YOLO it and try to just make do and try to heal through all the damage. But for the most part, it works really well. Like on quest, like if you're doing the Eastern Waste quests, this spell is really good at lulling the giants to be able to pull out the corpse inside the giant fort for that one mission. It's fantastic. Bards are fantastic pullers because they have Fading Memories, which wipes all your stuff, all your hatred. So they forget about you for a little bit, and it's like 2% of cast, so you can just kind of cast it a lot if you have mana. So it's nice. And then our Mez will Mez something up to 118 at this point. At 115, we can Mez 118, which is pretty good, right? I think that'll cover most experienced mobs in tier 1 zones. I've come across tier 2 zones where the mobs are not mezzable. That is why I'm running a bard instead of an enchanter. Because mobs are not mezzable, I rather have the ADPS that a bard provides in these harder zones. I do plan on doing a persona with this character eventually, so that she is an enchanter. I already started working on it, but I really decided just to focus on getting 125 right now. And then I can swap those out depending on what I need for the situation. Luckily, the bard cannot receive clarity, so it kind of makes sense to swap the bard for an enchanter, because I could clarity the group, swap back to a bard, and mum's your mum's the word, right? The bard loses out on haste, but you know, between over haste and everything else, I don't think it really matters too much for a bard anyway. And then we have Wave of Sleep, which is an AoE up to 6 targets, Mez, and this will hit 118 mobs. So this is kind of an interesting spell. It's got a recast time, so if we go over here to like these mobs here, they're all over the level, except maybe this one. Yeah, this one's 117, so it should get Wave of Sleep. So if we Wave of Sleep, right, and we look over here, you know, we got a recast time on this, right? It's a 27 second, but it lands, but it does not land on these, right? So in situations where, you know, you pull a lot of mobs and you want to kind of hold off that damage there for, you know, just a second, pop in this AoE Mez just to, you know, simmer everything down for a second, you know, give you that chance to do something else with other characters, or give your group time if you're, you know, playing, you know, a main bard, right? Give your group time to react to things like what's going on. But again, in certain tier 2 zones, mobs are immune to Mez, so it's kind of useless, but I do keep the 2 Mezes memmed anyway. And then here in slot 12, I have Composite Psalm, which is a what's it called? I think they're called progressive abilities. They're just abilities that are really strong, that have a minute recast time or so, like that, right? So this will add 8400 damage to nukes, and like that. So that goes out there right there. So the mage takes high advantage of this. The way I play my necromancer in certain situations kind of takes care of this, but not a lot. But the real thing right here is this massive amount of mana and health regen that you get, and increases damage. So this will also land on pets. So everybody's doing more damage and everybody's getting a lot of resources back. So it's a very good sustain spell to keep in the rotation, and I do. And right now I'm doing the aura of Valsera. Now this is the sustain aura. There is another aura we get, aura here. We get a spell focus aura, which is this, like if you look at these two, right, they're like the same thing, except one thing. They, like, you look at this and here, let's get rid of that one. Pop this up, you know, you get all the same stuff as this, but the chance for flurry is 6% here and 28% here. So or actually 22% there. And what? Yeah, it's that's the difference, right? There's a little bit, like, the triple attack's lower, the spell damage is lower, so there's a trade-off between the two. I did some research, and there's some stacking that can kind of go in here, right? If you do this aura, you get that flurry, and it stacks with this. But I need the mana regen, so I go with the mana one right now, Valsera, because my characters are not fully geared, and they need that extra mana regen, that extra endurance regen, and extra stuff. So I keep that one up at all times. Auras are kind of in a bad spot right now. Like, they have like a random duration. You don't know when they're going to wear off and whatnot, but you just cast it, it keeps going, and it just provides that regen that I need right now. So let's see here. So that's all the songs that we have going on. Let's kind of go over my hotbar here. I have a Hide Corpse hotbar that does Cellos. Cellos is our run speed ability that we get a while back. I can't remember when. Cello Sonata here increases our run speed by I don't even know how fast. Doesn't even say. We zoom is really what it boils down. It's the fastest movement speed in the game. Bard is the fastest class in the game, so it really is nice that you can just hit that, everybody gets it, and keeps them going. All right. And then I have assist button, which is really simple. Just X target 19, which is the assist target that I have set up on my extended targets. Turns attack on, pet attack, pet swarm. Just like the Bard has a lot of swarm pets that can be summoned, so being able to pet swarm and swap those around is useful. And then I have a burn button, so Fierce Eye, Quick Time, Blood Drinker's Coating. I do not actually have one right now, but I have it here so I don't forget it, which is just a potion that gives you leech. And then use item 17, which is our breastplate. And then Lyrical Prankster, which is another AA. So if we look here, Lyrical Prankster summons 5 doppelgangers to distract the target, right? So it just throws more pets out there. Fierce Eye is the other one. Gives everybody in the range base melee damage of 30% extra damage, critical damage, and a high chance to proc weapons. And let's see here, increases healing spells too, and damage by 13%. It's just all around nice little buff to throw out there. It's a 3-minute reuse and it lasts for a minute. So I have it on my multi-bind, so I just use it on cooldown. What was the other one in there? Fierce Eye, Quick Time right here. Another one I have on cooldown. Increases the rhythm of everybody in the group. Increases attack power by 1500. Accuracy by 90%. Chance to land a second additional hit with two-handed weapons, or one additional hit with one-handed weapons in primary second by 15%. Reduces the cast time of spells and songs by 0.5%. I mean, all around, this is a great spell. Great ability. I use it on cooldown. It's a 10-minute reuse, 2-minute duration. So if there's 8 minutes where you don't have it, I use it on cooldown. Typically, if I'm going to engage a named, right, I've kind of like waited a few minutes, clearing up to it, and got mana back. So it's usually up whenever I need it, even though I use it on cooldown. So let's see what else was in there. Yeah, that's all of those. Funeral Dirge. I think I put that in my multi-bind too. I just put everything in here. If I don't, I don't use it. So that's kind of really what that boils down to. So this will increase melee damage by 22% for the Bard, and triggers Shrieking Death, which does 55,000 damage. Wow. So that's pretty nice. Extra damage there. Cacophony. Oh god, I forgot how to say it. It's not cacophony for sure, but you know what I'm trying to say here. On your target deals 25,000 damage, then 35,000 damage every 6 seconds for 1 minute, and it's insane extra damage there. Frenzied Kicks. This ability, when activated, reduces the reuse time of your kick spell, so just extra kicks. We have, as a Bard, you have kick auto skilled, so it on cooldown kicks already, so it's pretty nice. And then Dance of Blades, when activated, gives you a 100% chance to dual wield double attack, triple attack by 100%, perform a flurry up to additional by 60%, and your accuracy by 115%. Your base damage goes up by 60%, and your melee attack chance with a 600% chance to Blade Wind Whirl, which just does more damage and stuff. So this is a really good buff for the it's a good self buff for doing damage. Bards don't typically do a lot of damage, I guess, but nowadays they do. So very nice. And then we have Discipline 1,000 Blades. Let's see if I can get the combat window to pop up here. There we go, 1,000 Blades. This is just brings your weapons into perfect alignment, increasing melee accuracy by 100%. The chance your melee attacks will deal critical damage by 5%, and grants a 200% non-cumulative increase to the damage of your critical melee attacks for 1 minute. We're just pushing damage out there is what we're doing. All right, and then Burn 3 here, Song of Stone, which I believe is Gargoyles, yeah. And then that throws out Gargoyles, and I have that in my multi-bind also, so I use that on cooldowns. Spire of Minstrels. I should honestly put this in my multi-bind. It's a 7-minute reuse, and lasts for a minute. I mean, it should be there probably. This just increases everything again, even more damage, more everything. It's just, I'm not even gonna read this. Everything goes up. Increases, everything for everyone. I think in the group, I believe. Yeah, combat prowess of all group members. Yeah, so it's just an all-around great buff. And then Vane. Is it Vane? Vainglorious Shout. There we go. Consumes endurance to deal 30,000 damage, stun the target, and lower the target's cone in front of you resist modifier. So it's just another great spell. It's a 12-second reuse, and it does 25,000 damage. I do have it in my multi-bind, and it does cause some stress on the stamina that my character uses, so I keep that in mind, but I do kind of like stop every once in a while, and once we get geared up sufficiently, it won't probably be that big a deal. Then I have a sit button just to stop songs and sit. Got a med, just got a med. Fading Memories, this is our escape. It just lets us escape so we can just instantly cast it and everybody forgets us, right? And we get Evader's invisibility, which is kind of cool because, it gives us an invis and stuff like that, to instantly be invis and some mobs, makes it really easy to pull, truth be told. All right, next line, I have an assist button, which just, X target 19, which is, or it's my tank. Let's target something real quick so I can show that. So his target, really? See, like not the assist. There we go. There we go. So now see he targeted that, and it's automatically populated here. And so X target 9. I turn attack on. I turn attack on. I do reflexive rejoiner. Where is that one? I think it's probably. I probably didn't even buy it. Looks like I'm actually missing reflexive rejoiner. What? All right, it's supposed to be rebuttal, I guess now. Let me change that. Rebuttal. Yeah, so, yeah. Flex. Alright, jeez. I can't even type, man. Rebuttal. There we go. Hopefully that's right. And that just does a little bit more damage. There. Let's see here. I have a DPS button, which is Boastful Bellow, which is kind of, I guess, pointless, right? I have them in there from my old setup, but I now have it in the multi-bind. So Boastful Bellow just does 30,000 damage on demand, and then does 25,000 or 250,000 after a certain amount of time. And then I have Phony again, which does 25,000 and 35,000 over time. QuickTime and Fierce Eye, we already talked about those two. Just massive buffs. I used to only engage on numpad 2. Now I multi-bind, so it's just kind of double dip in there with both those buttons. Debuff. So this is, I think I have all these in here. So Bladed Song is our kind of a, what is it? It's like a reverse damage shield, I guess. It causes the target to take 5,000 damage each time they attack. So it's like a damage shield, but not really. So like, you cast this on the mob, and then every time it hits somebody, it takes 5,000 damage, right? For 1 minute. Pretty nice spell. Funeral Dirge. We already talked about this one. And we already talked about Vayne. So, same things. Just more debuffs, resist debuffs and stuff. Alright, so here's my Mez macro. So, what I do is I stop song. I target X target 7. So, my X target is the same on every character. It's, you know, the first 6 are the group members. 7 is the next mob after the mob that's being attacked, right? Because X target 19 is the assist target. 7 through 18 are the additional mobs. So X target 7 is the first mob that would be mezable. In that situation, right? So I stop, I pause for 5, and then I do a cast 10, which is slumber, and then attack off. I should probably have the attack off right after stop song, but I'm too lazy to retype all that. I haven't had any issues though. So the same thing for X target 8. Bards can only really mez like say 2 mobs, at least in my setup. If you're playing a main bard, you could probably get 3 or maybe 4 mezzed yourself, but it's a box and it would be difficult for me to get that many going. And then I have AoE mez, which is stop song, attack off, and then cast 11, which is the Sway of Sleep. And then it's done. Everything's mezzed, hopefully, and you get some time to relax. All right, follow, attack off, X target 1, stand, follow, invite. So if you don't know, when you do a /invite, when you've already been invited, it will automatically join the group. Here, it will even demonstrate this. So let's leave the group. Let's go to my tank. Let's invite my bard back, right? There we go. Talk about a delay. And then we'll hit my follow button here. And see, she joined. Pretty simple. Just saves me time. That's all that really matters. I have a melody rest here. So this is 3, 5, and 6. This is like if I'm just trying to get mana back, say we die, I just want mana back. This is just all that it does. It does the mana regeneration songs. Very simple. Sonic Disruption is my pull ability. I use this for pulling. It's pretty long range, so you can kind of go back here. Like it's right here too. Sonic Disruption. It's a 10-second recast, so you get like 1 chance. But typically, what I do is I like lull, pop 1, and run back a little bit. See if I only got 1. If I didn't, I fade and they immediately stop, and then I lull and I pull back 1. So it just depends on how that works, but it's pretty good. And then I have gate potions, a campfire token, origin, and Throne of Heroes, my teleportation abilities, just for getting back to civilization. And I have my melody here. It's not the best. It is actually terrible. But it works for me. And at 125, I will probably go through and actually figure out the timings to make this better. But effectively, I do Aria of Matagor, Arcane Symphony, Pulse, War March, Suffering, then I repeat, and then on the repeat I grab chorus in there, and then it goes 2, 3, 1, 4, chorus, 2, arcane, goes through all that, and then 8 is insult. So I put 8 in here once, it's just at the end, because it does take 3,300 mana. And bards don't really get much mana regen, at least with my current gear, so it kind of drains me quite quickly. So I have that in there a little less than I'd like. I'd like to have insult pretty much be on cooldown, but it is what it is. And then 12 is our composite, which does this. Again, this takes 7,300 endurance, so it's quite a drain also. So I have it only once in the cycle. All right, and let's see here. I got a stop song macro. And then what else do we got down here? And then my multi-bind. All right, let's talk about the multi-bind. So on this character, I have only bound 6 actually. Actually, both of them are bound. Apparently so. I did not realize that. All right, so if I hit 4 or 5 on this character, she is going to be assisting me. Now, it doesn't really matter because they're all the same buttons. If I hit 4, they do the same thing, right? I might go ahead and put this here. I feel like that's probably not something I wanted, but I can't really remember at the moment. So I think it's uppercase A. Where is it? There we go. That one's not. It's a different color. Oh god, how many buttons do I have here? This is ridiculous. There we go. All right, so 4 and 5 will assist. So I do Boastful Bellow, Cacophony, QuickTime, Prankster, Sona Song, Song of Stone, Fierce Eye, Bladed Song, and Vain Glorious Shout. I do throw Tracking here because why not? And then Funeral Dirge, right? So every time I hit a 4 or 5 on any of my characters, they all do all of the multi-binds, right? So that's it's pretty intense, resource intensive. I do stop to med every once in a while just to make sure that everything is good to go there. But for the most part, that is what I do. I do also try to move the Bard into melee range as much as possible. Bard melee is not that great, especially with my current weapons. It's not like, these are not the greatest. These are like tier 1, maybe this is tier 2 TOV, but not that great. But as you can see, I can't see my melee attacks because I closed that window. But it is not it's not a whole lot right now. She's like lower DPS than my cleric in most cases, because the way I run my cleric. But her ADPS is really where it comes in. Let's see here. I just have a button here for silence, tracking. All right, Invis. Now this is probably the second reason I run a bar. First reason is speed. Second reason is this song right here, or this ability. So this is Sharia's Sonorous Clouding. This is double Invis, right? So this just makes life so much easier. I click this once, everybody in the group is double Invis. They get Invis to undead, they're Invis to live mobs, and I can pretty much run through any zone without even thinking about it. I wish the Enchanter got something like this, but the Enchanter and the Mage both get Invis and Invis undead, but they're two different spells, and it's hard unless you time it just right to get them on everybody at the same time. Bard, one click, done. So it's nice. Then I just have all the abilities right here just for reference. We also get Rallying Call, which is a endurance regeneration for our target. So if I want to, throw regeneration of endurance and mana to somebody, I can, or I can do it on myself. I typically do it myself because it pretty much destroys my abilities. And then I do have a familiar, the fungal underblock, right here, which I got from I think this is the Night of Shadows one. Yeah, I got some task ads is really what it boils down to. Yeah, Night of Shadows. So yeah, let's see here. And that is nothing. That's from Crystal Caverns Quest. And then I have illusion items over here, like my Amulet of Necropotence, and I have a Barbarian Mask. I haven't even bothered trying to get any other ones. I made them all skeletons because I like, and they look cool together with my Necro. So, but that's pretty much it. I pretty much just turn on my melody and move my character into melee while I have my tank, you know, he's already like positioned fighting the mob, you know, like smacking it from behind. And then I'll just go and position the bard in the right position and just melee. And, you know, it works fairly well. Not as much DPS as I'd like right now, but once I get her some better weapons, it will, you know, definitely pick up, right? So, there we go. And I really like, let me see if I have one on right now. I don't have one. Weapon-wise, for the bard, I don't like the stuns. She already has mana issue. Not mana issues, issues with aggro. I like the remote healing one-handed blunts. I know for my bard I had on Verant Interactive, I had 2 of them. So eventually I think with the 125 I'll pick up a remote healing and whatever else just to help out the healing of whoever's tanking, right? So it's just extra things I don't have to think about. You know, target healing is perfection in this game. I wish all the spells were target healing. So you know, it is what it is. But I really like it. All right, gear-wise, gear. Let's talk about gear. So 115, I believe there are a lot of options. Let's open up the bazaar because I don't actually have most of them on me. I have Icebound. I have Conflagrant's 106 armor. Snowbound. There we go. Snowbound, Icebound, and let's look at some others. So let's do Faded Velium here. Let's see here. So actually, let's do this. Let me just pull up the Snowbound legs so we can just compare these, right? Snowbound. Sort by price. There we go. So there's a Faded Snowbound legs. So Snowbound is tier 1 of the armor in Torment of Velius, right? 6,700 hit points. Icebound is tier 2, so it's a little bit higher at 7,000 hit points. And then if we go into Faded Velium here, this is tier 3. Take out the comma because, you know, fingers. Here's Faded Velium legs right here. These are the group and raid. You can see both if you wanted to, but we're only talking about group right now. You can see there the difference is quite significant. You know, it's 500 more than tier 2 and looks like almost 1,000 more than tier 1. So those are your options there, right? But then it goes even more, right? So there's Snow Squall, which is tier 1 COV, and then there is Blizzard, which is tier 1 or tier 2 COV, which both are no trade. You have to go kill their named or do the mission to get those. I don't have any on me for that reference, but you can get Restless. Let's just do Faded Restless, maybe. There's stuff, no armor though. Let's do Faded. Might make it a little bit easier to find. Yeah, not a whole lot of options in the auction house right now for this older stuff. Here's a bracer for reference, right? So if we look at the bracer here, it is 8,500. So it is 500 hit points more than the 500. It's 1,000 hit points more than the tier 3 TOV. So you definitely, if you can get it, you can get it, but it requires Restless ore, and you have to go kill the names in COV to get that. The option I would recommend in all actuality is waxing. Really? Did someone buy it all? I made a video earlier and it was some, yeah. So there is no waxing in the auction house right now, but waxing is the tier 1 TOL armor, which is 115 required, 120 recommended. So you will get better stats all around. Using that, I believe it's 10,000 hit points. I think maybe 9,000. But it's significantly better, and it's it has higher focuses too. So the waxing armor from TOL tier 1 zones is the best you can get at 115, and that'll take you all the way to 120. Then at 120 you can get the what is this called, Galliant armor from Lorian's Song, which is 120 required and 125 recommended. So this would be the best you can get at 120. So I'll cover that when we get to 120. But there we go. Armor wise and stuff, that's where I would go in that direction. AAs is another thing. So where would I spend my AAs? Synergy is the first thing I would spend anything on. Then I would probably do insult, and so I can get the damage from the new insult. So there's like 2 insult things going on here, right? I'm gonna want Yellowknack's insult because that's the next one I use, and I currently don't have the damage buff to that, so I would need to do that too. So that's 310 AAs I need to be able to do that correctly. And then from there, I probably go for like anything that can increase my damage passively. Burst power, because I do melee, ambidextry, wrath, anything like that increases my damage. I don't do a whole lot of dots. I don't do chance. I don't do any of that stuff. So those won't really help me as much, but worth getting eventually. Anything that would increase my defensive would be useful too. Because I do pull and I do get aggro a lot. Even though I have a paladin, like he pulls with protest or whatever it is now, declaration, and the mob will like run past and just thwack the bard. I don't know why. It's just bards get a lot of aggro from the songs, and being able to take those hits and be like, haha, it's something to keep in mind that's useful. But it just depends on how you play your character and stuff like that. All right, but I think that is everything for the 115 bard. Can't think of anything I missed. Mercenary, I don't use mercenaries, but you would want to obviously spend your mercenary points as much as you can. But other than that, I don't think there's anything else. The bard is a fantastic class. Definitely very good in certain zones where you cannot mez. Really puts that extra, ADPS to the group. In certain situations where an enchanter could not, and so that's why I'm running one for I got a good few reasons why I'm switching from an enchanter to a bard, but I do plan on leveling an enchanter for certain situations where I do need an enchanter. So it just depends. So I think that should be everything. Thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.